Hello everyone, my name is Isaiah Fleming, and my ADWA project was done last year when I was in the 7th grade, as I'm in the 8th grade now. The name of this project was NHD, which stands for National History Day. The theme for that year was conflict and compromise. At the time, the Battle of Ottawa was just a name to me, and I didn't know how important it was to Africa and my mom. So I decided to find a brief summary of the event to see if it matched the topic. Luckily, the Battle of Ottawa was a perfect match for conflict and compromise, and it came close to home as it was special to my mom. The project required a full explanation of the event in the form of a website, documentary, paper, or other special activity. And as you can see, I chose the website. So basically, the thesis statement here is talking about how this was the first time any African country had come together to stand against a European colony and win. And not only did they win, they basically destroyed Italy. Go to the next slide. So this is the beginning. This is 19th century Ethiopia, and basically they were broken down into kingdoms, which means that there were kings who were ruling the kingdoms, and then overall there was an emperor who ruled the country. Like how in the United States we have governors who rule the state, and we have the president who rules the country. Now next I have the Treaty of Wuchale, which talks about which is basically the compromise that's gone wrong. It talks about how in the Ethiopian version it says that Ethiopia could, while in the Italian it said would, which basically means that Ethiopia would be a colony of Italy. So here we have the key figures for Ethiopia. It was the emperor at the time, King Menelik, and his empress, Taitu Bito. And while we have the Italy's key figures, we have the general at the time, Ordisti Baratieri, and we have the president of Italy, Francesco Crispi. So here is the actual Battle of Ottawa. For the early moves, it talks about how Menelik was making these powerful speeches to his people, telling them to stand up to fight for their country, to fight for what they believed in and things like that. And so Menelik got his army to 196,000 men, which is a lot of people, compared to Italy's 25,000. Italy just completely underestimated the Ethiopians and what they could bring to fight. Then I have the beginning of the battle, which talks about a small skirmish. It's basically when the Italians learned that they were greatly outnumbered, which leads to the waiting game here. When the Italians learned that they were outnumbered, they created strong defensive positions against the Ethiopians, meaning that if the Ethiopians came to those positions, they would have gotten shot down and they most likely would have lost the war. Although the Ethiopians didn't, knowing that they would have lost if they had gone to their strong defensive positions, and they waited in their places. So they waited for a few weeks before the actual Battle of Ottawa. The Italians began to run low on food, and their soldiers were getting tired. So basically, the Italians decided that they needed to go and to fight the Ethiopians. They could wait no longer. And so here I have a timeline of what happened during the day of the Battle of Ottawa. And pretty much, like I said before, the Ethiopians basically destroyed the Italians in every way possible. The Italians really didn't win anything when it comes to that. And in the outcome, I talk about how the King Menelik and his wife went on to become one of the greatest parts of the Ethiopian government, while Ordisti Baratieri and Francesco Crispi were known for their humiliating defeat to the Ethiopians, and they were fired from office. So this took hours and hours of hard work and research, and my website took about 2 months to finish. The website received regional honors as I placed second in the region. At first, thank you. At first, I thought creating this website was just going to be another project, another boring project, something I had to do for school. Although creating this website was a great learning experience for me because it taught me more about my people and gave me another reason to be thankful for the life that I have now. It's great to know the history of my people and to see how it affects me 200 years later. And I encourage all of you, adult or child, man or woman, to learn something new about your history, whether it's a project like mine or just an article online. It's very important to know your history and to know who and where you came from. Amasiganalu.